One day, all the flora on Earth became sentient and began to grow at an alarming rate, consuming everything around, buildings, animals and even humans. In 1 year, Earth's atmosphere became unstable, with plants covering 80% of the surface of the Earth, forcing humans to abandon the planet, leaving behind only a few survivors. We meet a girl Yuan, as she stares at a puppy, when her father, Yang, rushes to her. He is quite upset that she has strayed away from him. He looks around frantically and Yuan chases after the puppy. Yang chases after her to find her staring at a pulsating mass suspended in the trees with captured humans in its clutches. He grabs her and dashes through the trees as large snake-like branches chase after them. They are almost caught, but Yang is able to make it out into the sunlight in time, as the branches return to the shade. He gets home and bolts himself in as night falls. Yuan is sorry about her actions, wondering if it was better for him to save their mother instead of her, but Yang tells her to not blame herself as it is all his fault. Later, he tucks Yuan in, singing her happy birthday as she falls asleep. After, he listens to the radio, trying to find any other survivors. He falls asleep not knowing that the plants are slowly making their way inside. He remembers the day the catastrophe hit. He was in traffic with his wife, when people began running away from the massive plants. Yang jumps awake in time to see massive plants pulling his daughter's bed underground as he screams for her. He grabs his bag and begins to track her down using a tracking device that he implanted in her watch. He runs through the abandoned city with his machete in hand, yelling for her as the signal grows stronger. The signal leads him to an abandoned research lab and he bursts inside with a UV flashlight, where he sees her watch on the ground. Fearing the worst, he begins to search around, seeing a body consumed by plants, before hearing Yuan screaming for him. Yang follows her voice and sees her crouched in a corner as her UV flashlight begins to run out of power. Yang throws her his light, saving her just in time, but he immediately has to take cover from the incoming branches trying to eat him. He is backed against a boarded window and Yuan yells at him to break it down to let the light in. He is able to break it down, causing the plants to retreat, but is knocked unconscious. He has another flashback. He remembers his wife worried sick about an experiment gone wrong, which would cause plants to become sentient and start feeding on humans. Before they could pack and leave, the massive vines began to drag both his wife and daughter away. Yang is startled awake by Yuan yelling for him. She desperately tries to hold on to him as massive vines try pulling him away. Before he is dragged away, a UV grenade explodes nearby and a female soldier impressively slashes her way in, and is able to cut him free. More vines begin to attack, but she is backed up by a military team who come in guns blazing and with fire extinguishers. They fight off the vines and try to deploy a UV beam, but it malfunctions. Yang reveals his engineering expertise and is able to fix it in time to drive the vines out of the room. Yang thanks the soldier Li Mo, and they introduce themselves as Team C8683 from the Global Joint Task Force. The team settle in and tend to a wounded member Lei, while 21 downs an egg to regain his strength. Fang Yang, their leader, then reports back to their headquarters their current situation, and reveals that they are transporting a high-tech weapon in their last-ditch effort against the plants. Yang asks the team if they passed any shelter sites, but 21 explains to him that shelters are useless as there is something called the green tide coming, which will wipe out the rest of life on Earth unless they are able to destroy the main root system, which is their mission. The team are preparing to move out towards a military site nearby, when 21 begins to pick up incoming biosignals. The ground around them collapses, destroying the UV light, and the team is forced to fight off the man-eating plants in the dark. The team is separated, and when the plants retreat, Li Mo realizes that Lei has been critically injured. She goes to retrieve the weapon, which has fallen nearby but freezes as she sees a large snake-like vine, with large tendrils, slowly approaching her. The dragon-like plant slowly inches its way forward as Li Mo, Yuan and Yang try to sneak out of the room. They are almost out, but accidentally knock over a bottle, causing the beast to sniff them out. They try to hide, but the monster gets too close to Yuan, frightening her and causing her to bump into a shelf. The monster goes wild and chases after her, but Yang comes to protect her. Lei steps forward, shooting at the thing, causing it to grab him up. Lei tells them to run as he ignites a grenade, blasting them out of the room. They land in the street, where the rest of the team meet up with them, asking for Lei, but Li Mo sadly tells them that he sacrificed himself for the mission. Seeing that Lei was their engineer, Fang asks Yang to join their mission as they could use his help, but he refuses, causing Gui to get mad at him for being selfish. Yang explains that his main mission is taking care of his daughter, but Fang tells him they will all die if the mission is not completed. Yang refuses to join them, so Li Mo wishes him farewell before the team sets out. Yang and Yuan turn to leave when Yuan pulls away from him. She tells him that she wants to go and save the world and turn to join the team. He tries to stop her, but Yuan tells him that if her mother was alive she would try to do the same thing. She joins the soldiers, taking Li Mo's hand, and they turn to leave. Accepting her decision, Yang follows behind. The team make their way through the overgrown city and they reach a large Ferris wheel, where Yang explains that this is where he met her mother, and promises to take Yuan to a park in the future. In the back, Stone tries to flirt with Zai-Jing but she plays hard. He hands her a good luck charm to keep her safe but she throws it back telling him that he needs it more. They get to the edge of the city and see a large flock of birds pass overhead, before 21 gets an incoming distress call from another team. The message is scrambled but they make out the words green tide. They begin to pick up biosignals all around and the ground beneath them starts to quake. A skyscraper behind them gives way causing them to run for cover, making it to safety in time. They turn to see a massive wall of vines like a tidal wave tearing through buildings. Yang grabs Yuan and the team dodge falling debris, sprinting towards a school bus parked in front of them. Stone is carrying the weapon when he is knocked down. He is able to activate it and throw it to Zai-Jing as the street beneath him gives way and he falls to his death. Zai-Jing is in tears but they all manage to make it onto the bus in time as the wall of vines crash into them. Yang buckles Yuan in on time but cannot make it to his seat, and is flung around violently as the bus goes for a crazy ride. The bus is thrown across a large cliff, but finally comes to a stop and they come out all dizzy, with some throwing up. Luckily everyone is fine. Zai-Jing finally breaks down over Stone's death and Li Mo comforts her. She realizes that he tied his good luck charm to the weapon and holds it with her, as Gui reports that the green tide has receded. Li Mo then reports that the biosignals are increasing, and at this rate, the green tide is coming ahead of schedule. Fang tries to report this update to headquarters, however his radio signals won't get through, causing 21 to break down saying they will all die. Yang looks around and spots a large satellite dish on top of a neighboring building, and suggests that they can use that to boost their radio signal to contact headquarters. The team agrees but the only way across is a narrow metal bridge leaving 21 shaking. The group set out cautiously with 21 whimpering, wishing he was a bit lighter. The path is interrupted by a gaping hole in the bridge, so Gui makes his way across first, followed by Li Mo and Zai-Jing. 21 is next but the bridge begins to give way causing him to fall. Gui drags him across, giving him a slap. Yang sends Yuan across and she almost makes it, until a large skyscraper gives way beside them. Luckily it barely misses the bridge but the following gust of wind sends Yuan falling. Fang catches her after grappling in a flash. Yang tries to pull them up but the line is slowly being worn away against the metal because of the weight. Fang realizes this and attaches Yuan to the grapple separately. He tells Li Mo that she is now in charge before cutting himself loose, falling to his death. Yang pulls his daughter to safety before the team races across, as another building falls towards them. He is able to throw Yuan to safety and grab on as the bridge comes loose. They make their way to the satellite room and 21 prays that the power is still on. With a little tinkering by Yang, they are able to get the power running. The team successfully makes contact with headquarters and reports the updated timeline for the green tide. Headquarters then report the update to the other teams who are carrying out their separate missions, and estimate that they only have 4 hours before the green tide hits. The Global High Command then interrupts and begins to broadcast globally to all teams. They report that they have detected a massive barrier of vines under the Earth's crust, blocking any access to the main root system and unfortunately, the mission will have to be cancelled. The other headquarters recommend blowing a hole in the barrier but all measures have failed so far. The High Command then concludes that all further resources will be focused on migrating a few humans to the ocean, as the flora has not fully affected the ocean surface, leaving the rest to their fate. Yang then gets on the mic. He gives a heartfelt speech, reminding them of their families and motivating them to keep trying for the future of humanity. The headquarters around the world then all decide to give one last push despite the odds. One by one the teams all report in their support of moving forward. Li Mo joins in, with her team all standing ready with her. One by one the teams begin to move on. Li Mo and the guys make their way across the rugged landscape until they see the massive launch station. With a drill strong enough to penetrate the Earth's crust, they make their way inside to get the power running as 21 connects to the system. Outside, massive vines burst through the Earth heading towards the station. With little time left, the team is able to inject the bio-weapon into the system and load the drill. The massive drill activates and begins to descend into the Earth, but just as High Command predicted, the drill is unable to penetrate the protective layer under the crust. Another team then radios in. They are stationed on a submarine. They are able to get close to the barrier and fire their torpedoes, but are unable to break through. This however causes the flora to become more active, blasting vines into the air. Zai-Jing then informs the team that the drill site is built close to an active volcano with a support structure holding back the volcano nearby. Yang then suggests that they try using the volcano to burn through the plant barrier and 21 agrees. Gui then finds a massive stack of C4 and suggests that they use it and blow the support allowing the lava to flow. The team agrees. Li Mo and Gui decide to carry out the operation but Yang stops them. He tells them that with his engineering expertise, he will be able to find the weakest point in the support and plant the explosive. Yuan is not a fan of this plan though as she calls out to him in tears. He comforts her telling her that he will be coming back to take her to the Ferris wheel ride. Around them the Earth shakes as the green tide begins. The three take an elevator and head to the lowest level with 21 guiding their way. The route, however, is blocked when they run into a clump of vines. Gui goes in guns blazing and Limo backs him up with her blade, but the snake-like vines knock them back, accidentally activating the bomb. One vine bites Yang but Limo cuts him free. Gui is holding off two massive vines but they overpower him. He however ignites his grenade, blowing a hole in the barrier. Limo cannot mourn for him though and she grabs Yang and the bomb and run towards the support structure. They come to a gate. Yang then locks himself on the other side with the bomb. Limo cries telling him that this is her mission, but Yang tells her to save herself and take care of his daughter. He leaves Limo and she runs back to the elevator in tears. Yang drags himself along as the vines begin to crumble the building. He is close but a falling rubble knocks him down. Limo makes her way to the team and breaks the news about Yang. The global team then broadcasts for the last time to the remaining survivors on Earth, bidding them farewell as the last stronghold is overrun. Yang is able to drag himself to the support and open the doors. 24 sees him on camera and Yuan breaks down crying. She screams at him to come back because he promised and Yang breaks down in tears. The C4 explodes, bursting lava onto the plant barrier, burning through and allowing the drill to get to the root. The massive vines then begin to recede and the headquarters and teams all around the world celebrate their survival. Later the survivors overlook the city, as Yuan narrates that they have been given one more chance to save humanity by her hero, her father. Remember to subscribe.